less city, relieve your stress, so yes. Let the music suit the soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. When we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the traffic avenue? Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. An applause for the traffic avenue.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, Traffic Avenue.
96, 97.3 Citi FM. It doesn't get any better than that.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
.3 Citi FM. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. I am Sami Wiafi. Tonight, I'm here with
Hawa Idrisu Mustafa.
Coming up in the next 1 hour, 30 minutes.
An Iranian regime armed with long-range missiles and nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat to the Middle East, but also to the American people.
A new global war that could disrupt supply chain and its economic impact on African countries, including Ghana. Tonight, we ask, will the US-Israel-Iran war affect petroleum supply in Ghana? Also coming up on Eyewitness News, Global Info Analytics predict massive win for NDC's Baba Jamal in tomorrow's by-election in the Ayawaso East constituency. And later, minority in Ghana's parliament pushes for tighter fiscal discipline in public spending.
Our hope is that we will find the best way to close this loophole so that every cedi that is spent of our limited resources is in pursuance of the National Development Plan.
Also coming up on Eyewitness News, we'll touch base with the Heritage Caravan, which is currently making its way to the Upper East regional capital of Bolga.
Yes, it's Bazaar Radio, that's everybody FM. Some requests coming in from Mr. Richard, right here on Bas 1 Radio, that's everybody FM.
Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and other stories on Eyewitness News. Also coming up later in business.
Rising freight costs loom for Ghanaian traders amid Gulf aviation disruptions.
Eyewitness News is live on our affiliates across the country, around the globe. We are on citinewsroom.com. And talking about our affiliates.
In the Western region, we are live on Beach FM 105.5 and Sky Power FM 93.5, both in Takrady. Bono region, we are live on Guina FM 95.9 in Sunyain. Ahafo region, Hammers Radio 106.5 in Goso. Ashanti region, we are live on Focus FM 94.3 on KNUST Campus, Kumasi. Orange FM 107.9, also in Kumasi. Volta region, we are live on Revival FM 99.3 in Tajiwu. Northern region, Radio Bimbala 91.9 in Bimbala. Upper East, Pure FM 100.5 in Navrongo. Bolga FM 102.7 in Bolgatanga. Upper West, we are live on Tunsong FM 97.3 in Wa and Drapa FM 96.1 in Drapa.
You can also join the conversation with your WhatsApp message. The number to send to 0539 986 996 0539 986 996. Send your WhatsApp messages and we'll read it out to you. Let's start with our first story because of recent development within the global space. How are
The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers (COPEC) says fuel prices in Ghana could rise sharply amid escalating tensions in the Middle East. Executive Secretary Duncan Amoah tells Citi News that global crude oil prices may climb beyond $100 per barrel if the conflict involving the United States, Israel, and Iran persists. He warns that sustained increases would put renewed pressure on domestic pump prices.
It depends on how fast the international market prices they move. If they move faster, I don't see how the city will be able to assuage the differences. Again, these are early days yet. You cannot tell whether Iran or its allies will have the firepower to hold off the attack, by Israel and US. It's early days. We'll see how the days unfold. But if this war is sustained, chances of crude hitting $100 a barrel, like I said some time ago, would just be a reality, and we'll all end up having to pay more for fuel in Ghana.
Duncan Amoah is Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers Ghana.
Let's get more on this particular issue and speak to Abbas Ibrahim Tatunti, who is the Director of Regulations and Planning at the National Petroleum Authority. Abbas, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I want to ask, how does this war, or for want of a better word, this war affect us here in Ghana?
So this war affects us in a couple of ways. One is the fact that prices will definitely be affected globally. And as a net importer of petroleum products, we are going to feel it here in Ghana. And so if you ask me, from where we sit, and we've seen this before, just 4 years ago when Russia attacked Ukraine, we saw prices on the world market go up, and Ghana was not spared of that. And so in fact, the price has already started rising on the world market. And so for Ghana, in the next pricing window, which is the second window of March, we are going to see prices most likely rise further again. And so we are going to see that impact on prices. The major concern has been for most people whether there will be products available on the market. But that's something that we have other measures in place to ensure that that does not happen.
So in just a matter of time, we should see an increase on the pumps, and Ghana should brace themselves up for this.
Yes, that is so.
What is the current stock level that we have in this country?
So, like I said earlier when I spoke to your colleagues, we have diesel to last us a little over 5 weeks in the country. For petrol, we have close to 7 weeks of stocks in tank. That does not mean that when we have stocks in tank, we exhaust or we use all of it before we import to accurate. On a daily basis, our import plans ensure that these charges are ongoing. So our import plan always ensures that we are adding to what we are consuming, because we never stop consuming. We consume every day. And so we have to continue discharging every day to add to what we are consuming. We also have the local refining as well. So that adds to what we have.
But then again, people will also ask, what plans are in place to ensure that there's constant and available fuel for the Ghanaian consumer?
So one of the things MP does, in fact, our mandate is to ensure the availability of petroleum products at all times. And so we have a supply plan that ensures that we achieve this mandate. And so we plan our import or our supply on a quarterly basis. We already have an import plan for the entire first quarter of 2026. And so based on that import plan, we have vessels that are scheduled to discharge into the country, and we always confirm, we follow up to ensure that they have confirmed delivery. As we speak, we don't have any of the vessels that have confirmed delivery indicating that they are unable to come to discharge. The good news also is that just a few minutes ago, I read from S&P Global, which monitors oil flows around the world. And they've shown that the offshore Lumi market, where most of the vessels that come and do what we call the ship-to-ship transfer into Ghana are, we have enough abundant supply of diesel there. And one will ask, why is this the case? This is the case because Nigeria, for example, as we all know, Dangote is producing now. And so Nigeria is not importing as much as they used to do. This offshore Lumi market used to supply majorly Ghana and Nigeria. And so with Nigeria being the biggest off-taker going off, the products are in abundance to meet our demand. So we having a lot of oil sitting in offshore Lumi means that we have products very close to us. Vessels don't have to come from all the way passing through the Straits of Hormuz which has been blocked to come to Ghana. So we have availability of petroleum products. Like I said earlier, definitely the impact we will feel will be the price impact. But for availability of petroleum products, that's not a concern at the moment.
And you said we have 5 weeks to last out. The 5 weeks, are we still maintaining the same prices, or we see an increment within those 5 weeks as the goods is available?
So prices on the world market change on a daily basis. And in Ghana, you are aware that we have a 2-window pricing system, and so we average daily price for a 2-week period, and that determines the pricing for a particular window. For this particular window of the first window of March, the prices that went into it closed on 26th of February. So we already know what was going into this window, and we expected prices to rise for this window. Like I said earlier, we are monitoring the price that will be used for the second window of March, and that is where we will feel the direct impact of these rising prices that has come as a result of the war. And so we are going to see that impact in the second window of March, which may be major than what we are seeing what we are going to see in this current window. So prices will go up unless for any reason some magic happens and just this week or next week the war ends and prices come down. But I don't think that is likely. It's very likely that from today when the markets opened, prices have been rising up. It's likely to continue at least for this week. And so we hope that the war does not prolong for too long.
Abbas, what role can domestic production play to ensure energy security in all this?
So the role domestic production actually plays is that we don't have to now go and scramble for the oil on the world market. Remember that when wars happen, if you are a net importer of petroleum products, where you are importing from, where Ghana mostly, if our products are coming from, whether India or from Northwest Europe, they will think about themselves first. And so those there will definitely want to take the product before they think of other parts of the world. So if you don't have a plan to produce domestically, it means you have to continue relying on imports. And as an import-dependent country, that risk is there where the world is scrambling for the products available. The other thing is, as we all know, the shipping is another major concern. As we, like we said, because of the closure of the Straits of Hormuz, freight has become very expensive. And so if you are importing and the Straits of Hormuz has been blocked, ships have to go around all the way through the Cape of Good Hope. It makes shipping more expensive. Insurance costs go up because of the threat of the attacks of the vessels. And so as a net importer, all these risks feed into the price. But if you are producing locally, domestically, all you need is the crude oil. And for Ghana, for example, most of our refineries typically take the crude oil from Nigeria. And so the proximity of crude oil from Nigeria to Ghana we are not exposed to the threats on the world market. I mean, the threats on the seas that other ships are exposed to. So domestic production always helps. Another advantage of domestic production is that there are certain products you not bother yourself importing. For example, we may need a lot of diesel and petrol because those are the products we use the most. But when it comes to products like aviation fuel, LPG, and residual fuel oil, for example, domestic production typically will meet the demand. And so you may not be importing everything you need. You may import just a section of what you need. Century alone, for example, is already meeting about 30% of our demand. If all complete Eastern around maintenance and joins that's also going to add to Century, and they will meet just about 50% minimum. And so it means we just be importing about 50%. So whatever exposure we have, whatever risk we have, is minimized. So domestic production is always a good thing and an advantage to the economy.
As a consumer, what assurance can you give me and the many other consumers listening to us?
So as a consumer, I'm sure the first thing you always think about is if I go out and I go to the filling station, would I have products? Yes, the assurance is that the products are available. We have products at Anchorage right now. We have 4 cargoes of products at Anchorage, 2 diesel, 2 petrol at Anchorage, waiting to discharge in Tema. And so as a consumer, I would say that don't be scared that product shortage will occur on our market. We have adequate stocks. We have adequate product plan to also be discharged to add up to our stocks. So be rest assured that products will be available for you to consume. If there's no product available, then it's a major concern for us, but that is assured. So consumers should not be scared at all.
Abbas, I'll say a big thank you for your time. Thank you very much. Abbas Ibrahim Tusere is the Director of Regulations and Planning at the National Petroleum Authority. Let's go to the other line and speak to Dr. Patrick Ofoy. He's the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Doc, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I'm told Dr. Patrick Ofoy is not on the telephone. I will try and raise Doc back on the line and speak. Doc, if you can hear me, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. The National Petroleum Authorities are assuring us that we shouldn't fear. There's no cause for alarm. From your side, since you are the importers, are we safe with the recent development within the global space?
I think you are more than safe, and it's a good time to be a Ghanaian, because I can confidently say that what our previous leaders did by ensuring that our sector is deregulated and that the private sector play a key role in that gives a firm assurance that we don't necessarily need government back guarantees to import products in, so that irrespective of whether the country is going through an IMF program or any form of sanction, it affects purely a business and a commercial decision that private sectors have to ensure the agreement that they have with their partners, what we normally refer to them as the IOTCs, there is a guarantee supply to the country that irrespective of missiles flying all over. I can confidently say that the next 5-10 weeks before maybe Oman or China manage to broker a peace deal between US, Israel, and Iran, I'm confidently that there will never be a shortage of petroleum products in the country.
If it doesn't happen as you are hoping or predicting, what happens then?
The good thing is we don't necessarily rely on supply from the region, but it's just that the ripple effects of that is that the prices may go up. And the positive side to that is that commodities that Ghana export, like gold, are going to go up, as we've seen that gold price has started going up. Once gold go up and when most countries start shifting from using dollar as a store of their wealth and moving into commodities like gold and silver, that is where Ghana make the gains, and you will start seeing that the city remain relatively stable, which once the city appreciate, the customers or consumers like you and myself will benefit in the sense that it will compensate for maybe the increase in prices that may result because China may also move to demand from mainland Europe, which may surge prices up. But that notwithstanding, in terms of product in country, we have enough, and we also can confidently say that most of our ROTCs are now picking products from Dangote and West Africa. That gives us a safer option, and also with Citi scaling up and being able to supply 30% of the domestic demand, it gives us firm assurance that we can keep our tanks and our pumps flowing.
I asked Abbas a while ago about the issue of local or domestic production and the role it can play to ensure energy security. I'll pose the same question to you. What more can local production do to ensure energy security?
Definitely, it's a key component in our energy mix, and not only that, we need to also, as a country, start moving into the renewable space to ensure that we diversify our energy portfolio. That gives confidence to businesses and individuals who rely on fuel to make their daily ends meet. And like I said, Citi since last quarter has consistently supplied 30% of our demand, and which to me gives a sense of confidence. And with their plans of investing in the second phase, which will ramp up production to a huge number going into the future, that also ensure that at least 70% of the domestic consumption will be produced within the country. And if TOR and other modular refineries are also able to scale up, it will help. But most importantly, because you source crude internationally to supply all these refineries, still the geopolitics will have its impact on your energy demands unless maybe you are able to invest in other alternative renewable sources, which does not necessarily hugely depend on these international geopolitics.
The MPA says we are safe. We are also saying that there's no cause for alarm. So the entire Ghanaian consumers should be rest assured and they can go to sleep.
They should be rest assured. If there is anything that I can use as a case in a reference point, it's what happened during the Russia-Ukraine war and when the currency and other countries were even having queues, and that we never experienced that. When Paris, London, Lagos were experiencing petroleum queues, Ghana never experienced anything of that sort, and I'm confident that we are more than prepared for whatever is ahead of us.
Doc, thank you very much for your time. Dr. Patrick Ofori is the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors. Let's just stay on this matter and speak to Dr. Nana Yao Miriku. He's an international relations analyst to speak to on this matter. Doc, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Look, a lot of people have described this invasion, if you want to put it that way, or war, for want of a better word, as needless and was not really necessary for the U.S. administration led by President Trump to embark on such a venture. Is that the case on your side?
Good evening, and thank you for having me on your show. I think that the Trump administration and Trump, himself, locked himself, down with the kind of utterances that he's been making for the past few weeks in negotiation with Iran. And once you threaten to strike, to make an action, it becomes very difficult to avoid it. When you do that, you come across as being weak, and to save face, he had to carry out the actions that he did and the strike against Iran. But most importantly, if you want to look at international law, of course, that is also another case, because clearly it was an unprovoked attack, a strike against Iran that didn't have to happen, especially when at the background of this development was negotiations and diplomacy taking place. If you would recall, this would be the second time U.S. would strike Iran in the middle of negotiation. And so I subscribe to that school of thought. But once again, when the national interests of states are at play, some of these logic don't really play. And there's what we call the individual level of analysis in foreign policy decision making. Maybe there is something to Iran that Trump thinks that it plays to the gallery of his political audience, and Iran happens to be that stage that these attacks are taking place. So, and also the Israel factor is important. You recall Benjamin Netanyahu has come out to say that what has happened to the Supreme Leader is something that Israel has been wanting to do for the past 40 years. So there's the individual level of analysis, the individual perspective, as well as the national interest of these states, at play. What is undoubtedly going to happen is that it's going to open a Pandora's box. It has global ramification. This crisis has regional ramification, and it has implication for the African continent and even smaller states, like Ghana, as well.
Looking at the effects of this, and you get Dubai and other allies of the U.S., getting affected. You think this war can end anytime soon, or is we are in for a long haul?
I don't think. Nobody can really tell how long this strike, this conflict, is going to last, because I think that the Americans are realizing that this was a grave miscalculation on their part, and Iran is not Venezuela. Venezuela is America's backyard. But when you are striking a country that is 6,000 miles away from you, and you have to transport some of your most powerful aircraft carriers to the region, what it means is that once you begin to run out of ammunition, then how are you going to sustain the war, the strike against Iran? Because that is Iran's turf. Iran has in-depth geographical idea, right, of that area. And that is why you see countries like UK coming to the aid of US, that UK's base in that region can be used by the Americans to strike Iran. The Iranians have now realized that this is an existential threat to the regime, even though the Ayatollah is no more. And so right now, they are holding no punches. They are going all out, including the GCC countries that are hosting Iran military bases. And right now, UK has become a direct attack. It has become a direct target, by the Iranians, because then it has become a party to the hostilities. You understand? So there are the dynamics and the nuances doesn't look like this is going to happen. It is not a one-time strike. A sharp strike, precision strike that the Americans thought they could have in Venezuela. So I think that this is going to be. It will take some time for us to see how things are going to manifest. But it doesn't look like the kind of strike that the Americans predicted or envisaged as they were going to have in Iran. And we should be hopeful that the proxies don't get involved. The Houthis, the Hamas, the other proxies, the Houthis, Hamas, and the Hezbollah in Lebanon. Let's hope they don't get involved. But like I said, it has global ramification, it has regional implication, and it has effect on the continent of Africa.
Doc, let's come home. Let's talk about Ghana. We know how stranded some of our colleagues are. We told of how, for instance, the football, the Black Queens and other Ghanaian travelers are stranded in the midst of all this. How can the government of Ghana help such people?
Well, I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, has issued a statement. To claim that it's putting in place measures to see how it can assist Ghanaians in that part of the world and bringing back non-essential service members in the embassies in that part of the world, back home. I think that this is when you need to see the ministry really doing its work. Do they have the facilities to, as it were, communicate, with Ghanaians, those who are stranded? Have they got the measures to keep them in safe zones or to keep them, safe until such time that they are able to be brought back home? I think we did it. The government did that during the first U.S. Israel Iran coordinated attacks against Iran, and we saw how the government was instrumental in arresting the situation. But it boiled down to a diplomatic instrument in those countries. Now, but moving on, I think that people have been very they have rehearsed and resounded the issue of the economic implications of the crisis and how the Strait of Hormuz affects oil prices and how Ghana could be affected. I am even looking at the long-term impact of this crisis, right? Look, the countries that are hosting the military bases are now direct targets of Iran. And, granted that this war continues for a long time, nobody knows the nuances. What it means is that America's interest, not only within the sub-region, in the long haul, will become targets by the Iranian regime, and especially its proxies, right? And so when we are moving away from talking about the economic impact, the fact that countries with U.S. installations, it's not far-fetched. This is reality, right? You saw countries that have become targets by proxies or supporters of these terrorist cells just because they hosted U.S. installations in their respective countries. It's a possibility. So if you think that this crisis is thousands of miles away and the only cause to be worried, right, is the economic aspect, we need to rethink how we are seeing the crisis. Of course, the other dynamics, that we could also talk about. But going forward, the impact of this crisis is predicated upon the longevity, right, and the gradations. How deep in the crisis become will determine the consequences, thereof.
Doc, I say a big thank you for your time. Dr. Nana Yamreko is an international relations analyst speaking to us on the matter of the, invasion of Iran by U.S. and Israel. Let's speak to a Ghanaian who is stranded in the United Arab Emirates. A popular Ghanaian blogger here, Zion Felix. We're told that he's somewhere in Dubai and stranded for a period of time over this. As you're aware, the Dubai airport has been closed or was hit in this strike, and he's one of the many Ghanaians who are stranded in that country. Let's speak to him, get how he's doing, if embassy officials have reached out to him, and how he's coping in the midst of all this situation. Zao, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening here in Ghana, and thank you very much for your time. How have you been? Hello, Zion Felix, can you hear me? I'm afraid we do not have contact to Zion Felix. We'll try and raise him again on the line. He is stranded, we are told, in Dubai because of the closure of the Dubai airport. We try and establish contact with him again. Zion, if you can hear me, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. I'm afraid Zion is unable to hear me. Producers will try and raise him. Producers will try and raise him again on the telephone line so we can speak to him on how he's been so far stranded far away in Dubai because the Dubai International Airport has been closed because of the airstrike in that part of the country on the back of the Israel-US Iranian war, which is currently taking place. Let's try for the last time and see if we can hear him. Hello, Zion. If you can hear me, thank you very much for your time. And how are you doing? Sincere apology. We'll try and raise him back on the line. Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll try to establish contact with Zion and speak to him.
Be there as it happens.
Kuma has always dreamt of commanding his own military forces.
Attention! Eyes right, stand at ease.
Because that dream is still a vision in progress, he spends his time commanding his money with the EcoBank mobile app.
Operation Supplier Payment. Dispatch 1,000 units of currency from Accra to Benin. Move! Move!
Sometimes he wants a little extra control so that he can buy only what he needs.
Command Center mobile app. Activate virtual card protocol and initiate payments for sneakers and t-shirts. Abort mission for leather coat payment.
Even when the general is fast asleep, his standing order marches out to sort his bills. With the EcoBank mobile app, you can command your money to make safe transactions in Ghana and across 33 African countries. Download the EcoBank mobile app on the Play or App Store today.
By the left, about turn.
EcoBank, the Pan-African bank. EcoBank will never call or send an SMS asking for your PIN, OTP, bank card, or Ghana card details.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Ugomi, now what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car, they run like electric car. No, it's so...
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. One pair way now open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go!
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. Stories bringing so far the recent development within the global space, a global war that is causing disruption in supply chain and its effect here in Ghana. Let's speak to an individual who is stranded in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, a Ghanaian popular blogger who we are told has been in the thick of affairs as far as this whole issue is concerned. Zion Felix joins us on Zoom to speak to us where he's been, the situation there, and what he can report. Zion, if you can hear me, good evening from Ghana. Where have you been, especially where you are? What is the situation?
I'm in Dubai right now, and things are really calm. Things are cool here. The streets are almost empty. Everybody is mostly inside. But I think from tomorrow, people start moving out because they were told to be indoors today, and people who could work from home should be at home. So I think most people were at home. But from tomorrow, I think most people will be out working normally.
For how long have you been there?
I've been in Dubai since February 10. I was supposed to leave on Saturday, and when I was at the airport waiting for my flight to jet off, that is when they started cancel all the flights. So I've been here for, let's say, 19, 20 days in Dubai.
And has any embassy official reached out to you or any group of Ghanaians you are with there?
Not yet. I think they made a statement on socials that if anybody needed help, they should call those contacts that they've put on social media. But no Ghanaian official has contacted me yet about my stay here in Dubai.
You were asked to register from a statement we saw from the embassy. Have you done so?
I think that was for people in Qatar. I don't know if people in UAE were part, but I think the statement that I saw that people were asked to register were for people in Qatar. The statement that I saw from UAE was for people in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, was to call a contact if they needed help, but I've not called yet. But the one that they were asking people to register was for people in Qatar.
But the one for UAE, why haven't you called yet?
I think right now I'm under the care of Emirates or UAE because I was at the airport when they canceled the flight. So they made an arrangement for hotel and they keep communicating with us. This morning they were here to take my details and they said in case of anything, they'll communicate with me when I'll be flying. And I think just this evening I've seen an update on their website. That is from the app that I use, that they've started operating this evening. And I have some people commenting under my post on Facebook who work at the airport that they've been asked to resume work tomorrow. So hopefully this week we'll be able to go. But if any help comes from government, I'm ever ready to leave, whether Emirates or government. I just want to live here. So if government wants to help us, I'm available. I'll go. If Emirates wants to fly me, any of them which will come first, I'm ready to live here.
Are you there with any other Ghanaians or you are there alone?
I'm here alone, but I know other Ghanaians who are here. Kokumenu is here. There's this lady, Chaledi, who is also here. I know this woman who also owns a school at East Lagos. She's also here. I had a message from a lady who was transiting from here to Ghana. She's from America. She's also here. So I think I know a couple of... And then when I was at the gate at Dubai airport, going to London, I met two other Ghanaians who were also flying to London that couldn't also go. So I think in total, we'll be about like 5 or 7 people that I know that are here in Dubai. But there will be more because Dubai flies to Ghana every day.
How's the place like, considering what happened at the airport, the disruption and then? Give us a mental picture.
I think things are calm here because they keep intercepting missiles in the air. So things are very calm here. We keep reading online that authorities have promised to make everybody safe here. And true to their words, they keep intercepting missiles. Whilst you are there, you'll be hearing certain sounds, which they tell us that like the missiles are hitting places. It's because they directed to elsewhere. That is when we hear the sound. So so far so good. I've not heard of any casualties. And then when I went to town, I didn't see a lot of people, but people were still moving around. When you go to Dara, when you go to Marina, you see people, a few people moving around. I saw kids at the playground still playing. Even today, I went out to you could see people around going on and about. A place where they sell affordable beverages. The place was full. People were even queuing outside to go and get beverages. So things are moving around, and I'm sure that tomorrow a lot of people will be in town.
Zion, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best. Zion Felix is a popular Ghanaian blogger here. He's stranded in the United Arab Emirates in the back of the recent attacks in that country. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. Let's Wama from Takwa says hypocrisy at the highest level. When Kojo Oponkrumah was in power, what happened? They spent a lot of the taxpayers' money on things that are not necessary, and yet here they are talking about fiscal discipline. Aziz Inwa said the CEO of MP has given us incredible insight regarding our stock in fuel for weeks. Citizens should be ready to pay when the unexpected happens. Ghana is blessed with crude oil, and our first president foresaw this by building the Tema oil refinery to prevent fuel insecurity. But the previous administration collapsed store and resorted to fuel importation and sold out crude oil to Chinese instead of bringing in to refine. Yaos, who West says the minority lacks the moral authority to question this spending or accountability. While accountability is cruel, they should reflect on their own history of unaccounted millions during their time in power. The MPP should come again. This is Eyewitness News coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. How has some more stories?
The Member of Parliament for Fuansi Ayuribi, Kojo Nkrumah, says he will introduce a private members' bill to amend the Public Financial Management Act. The proposal seeks to align budget releases with national development priorities approved by the National Development Planning Commission. Kojo Nkrumah stated that the amendment would prevent funds from being released for projects not captured in the national plan to curb unplanned spending.
And so this amendment seeks to deny the Ministry of Finance the opportunity to fund such projects and programs. This is separate from contingencies or emergencies that may come up. But for regular programs and projects that have not been included in the...
You had a ranking on the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament, Kojo Nkrumah.
Let's get more details from him on this particular issue. Kojo joins us on the phone for more. Kojo, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. What are you trying to do with this new bill that you're pushing?
Well, this bill, good evening to you and your listeners. This bill seeks to close a loophole, a major loophole in the PFM, particularly Section 21. And as it's structured now, even though in theory and expectation, we want the budget to conform with the development plan of the country, there's still a gap in the law which allows ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the assemblies, to access and spend money on projects that are not in the National Development Plan. And what this bill seeks to do is to close the loophole and to require that before every single CD is spent, that CD must be tied towards the pursuit of the national development objectives as approved by the NDPC. We have limited resources. We should not be allowing ministries, departments, and agencies and assemblies to be using some of those resources on projects of their own that are not included in the National Development Plan.
But if it's not in the plan and it's an urgent, a thing that is needed, they can't go about it.
The Constitution has spelled out who determines what is important. It's not about what is urgent, what is important, what is a national priority. That is the NDPC. And the NDPC enabling legislation, Act 480, spells out the process of determining what is a national priority. That is the process of getting a medium-term plan approved or certified by the NDPC. We're having instances where heads of institutions, ministers, decide on what they believe is important, sometimes even contrary to what a president is trying to pursue with their limited resources. And they will still find in the current framework resources to be able to pursue it. What we are looking to do is to close that loophole and require that it should be part of the things that the NDPC has approved for us to spend money on. If not, it should not get funding.
How soon do you intend to push this through?
It's been about a year of initial drafts and engagements. Today, Parliament required stakeholders from the various ministries to come together and examine what we've done. They've given us some very good feedback. We now have just one more step, and then we'll meet the Committee on Private Members' Bills, after which Mr. Speaker will authorize for us to lay the bill on the floor. So we're expecting that we'll finish all of these in this particular meeting. If we can lay it before this meeting is over, we'll be very happy. If not, the moment Parliament reconvenes for the next meeting, we should be able to lay it. I must also say that it's only 5 clauses. The bill is only 5 clauses. So it's a bill that can be taken in a very short period of time once it goes through these stages and is laid. But I'm hoping that this year at least before the mid-year budget review, this bill hopefully should have passed into law. That's my hope.
Aside this bill, let's talk about an issue that's you as a member of the Economy and Development Committee may also concern you. It's on the back of the attack that is happening to Iran. As a member of the committee, you think we have any effect here in Ghana?
I think it's early days yet, to be honest. It's a bit early days yet to determine what sort of, first of all, how long this particular impasse will travel, how severe it will be in terms of affecting the Strait of Hormuz, where about 20% of the world's crude oil is transported. So it's a bit early days yet. Depending on the kind of responses that come from Iran, that is what will determine how far this will travel. And the longer this travels is what will determine, among other things, whether or not this could have global implications. But, on a lighter note, we should not expect it to have implications here in Ghana. We have been told by our current government that it is improper to imagine that conflict in other parts of the world, especially places where energy is produced, will have an implication on us here in Ghana. I'm sure that the reality is now dawning on them that was just, part of their propaganda talk. But I think it's early days yet. As time goes on, we'll have clarity.
Kojo, thank you very much for your time. Kojo Oponkroma is the ranking member on the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament and also the Member of Parliament for the Ofuase Yebu constituency. How are?
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Education Ministry to enforce stricter discipline in senior high schools following recent violence. Deputy Education Minister Clement Apak, who made known the directive, says students involved in hooliganism could face arrest, prosecution, or even jail terms. He urged students to stay focused and avoid criminal behavior, warning that misconduct could jeopardize their academic futures and attract severe consequences.
We are not happy with the hooliganism, the lawlessness, and indeed the misconduct that we are recording in some secondary schools. Not all, very few. But as the saying goes, one bad nut can soil the taste of the rest of the nuts in your mouth. So please stay away from such behavior. Conduct yourselves properly, focus on your studies, and let your colleagues know that those who would refuse to conduct themselves properly, those who would misbehave, those who will be lawless, those who would engage in acts of criminality will be dealt with. And I'm sure you've heard that some of your seniors in some of those schools where we had reports about misconduct and lawlessness, the Director General is here, the Chief Director is here, Minister has given us the marching orders, President has given us his blessing in our secondary school. So if you misconduct yourself, you will be arrested, you will be prosecuted, and you may go to jail.
Dr. Park also announced a 20% salary top-up for teachers who accept postings to rural and deprived areas. Dr. Park added that under the Teacher Dabre program, affected teachers will also receive accommodation support.
Our government is really determined to address some of these challenges. That is to help provide accommodation so that teachers would find it a lot more easier to take up postings in rural communities. But the president doesn't just leave it there. He also has a program that is going to reward teachers who take up teaching positions in the rural areas slightly more than their colleagues who do not. That is a policy that is going to allow teachers who take up postings in rural communities and underserved communities 20% on top of their gross salary as part of the motivation.
Deputy Education Minister Clement Apak.
You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studio here in Accra. A few of your WhatsApp messages. Akapo in Hafumim says the government has no excuse should the prices of petrol products increase due to the ongoing war between these nations. They lambasted the MPP government for increasing prices during the Russia-Ukraine war. Austerity is the best judge. Now the war in Iran can affect petroleum prices in Ghana. The gentleman from NPA agreed that the war in Ukraine affected prices in Ghana. When officials of the previous government said this, the NDC communicator said that is not true. We live to see. This is from Daniel in Ashaman. Jones Adoboy says, it is our prayer that these leaders will smoke the peace pipe early enough to shame the enemies who are happy to see the success of the John Dramani Mahama administration. And Sami from Georgia says, the Mahama government is the best in Ghana. MPP should give us a break. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Let's touch base with the Heritage Caravan. And we're told that they're on their way to the Upper East Regional Capital of Bolgatanga. Umaru Sanda Amadu is my colleague here at Citi FM and Chadawan Television. He's on the caravan. He joins us to give us an update on where they have been so far and where they are and where they are expected to be. Umaru, thank you very much for your time. You were supposed to be in this seat. Where are you?
Sunny, we are somewhere in the Gusau district in the northern region, in a town called Bintri. We are headed for Nalerigu, the northeast regional capital. Then we make it to Nalerigu Gambaga, the mountains of Gambaga, and then we continue to Bolgatanga, where we'll be spending the evening. But I must say, Sunny, that we left the Royal City Hotel this morning at about 5 a.m. We crossed the river via Dambai, the ferry, an area that you are very familiar with. It was an exciting and interesting journey crossing to this part of the country where we made a stop in Bimbila for some very sumptuous Awamo prepared for us by Nana's Rice. And we've been on the road looking at the changing landscape and the change in the vegetation from green to semi-green and now brown, and the trees getting shorter as we see the scraps of the savannah. It is epic watching everything change. The quality of the road, the size of buildings. We are seeing round huts with thatch roof, and for the first time since having entered the north, which is a sign that we've left the south. We are seeing huge baobab trees. We are seeing huge ceiba trees. And of course, we're also seeing shrubs and grassland areas, vast expanse of land and plains in this part of the country. I mean, it is beautiful. It's getting late, but we should be arriving in Bolgatanga very soon, where we'll be hosted at Ghana, and we'll keep the excitement on the Heritage Caravan going.
Tell me about the Anwamo.
Anwamo, yes. I mean, you know, there's the Anwamo that we know in the south. Apparently, there's a special one that they do exclusive to the north. So there was the rice, the regular one, with how you know it is done. But in this case, they had varieties of protein that was going with it. So if you wanted eggs, you get that. You wanted sausage, you get that. They had pork on the side. But this is not excite patrons as much as the fish that came with it. There was kebab, which was made from catfish. I mean, that was a different level. All of that came with the rice. And again, you know that this is the area where a lot of our drinks like zonkum comes from. So there was zonkum, there was sobolo, and these drinks were served in abundance. And we enjoyed it at the AstroTurf in Bimbila before departing for Bolgatanga.
Wow, I'll say a big thank you for your time. Sure, we'll touch base when you get to Bolgatanga. Thank you very much. Umaru Sanda Amadu is my colleague here at Citi FM and Chadawan Television. On board the Heritage Caravan, they're on their way to Bolgatanga in the Upper East region. As he said, they are now in Gushegu in the northern region, moving to Bolgatanga, where they will spend the night, and the caravan will continue tomorrow. This is Eyewitness News, coming to you live from our studios here in Accra. Coming up next is Business, and Business on Eyewitness News is brought to you by Republic Bank. We are the one for you. Join the Republic Verse, do more, shine more, big up.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house,
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofuswejari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media General, Radio Gold, Citi FM, and Channel 1 TV. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Oh, jump on
Go, Gugomi. And what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, they make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand they go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Ramadan Kareem, a season of peace, blessings, and giving. Electroland Ghana Limited is bringing blessings into your home with special value deals on Samsung, TCL, Media, and NASCO. NASCO TVs from just $699, bottom fridge freezer from $1999, chest freezer from $1999, Samsung 6kg twin tab washing machine for 2,999 Ghana cedis, Samsung microwaves from 1,799 Ghana cedis, TCL 43 inches for 2,999 Ghana cedis, TCL water dispenser for 1,599 Ghana cedis, TCL front load inverter for 5,999 Ghana cedis, Media air cooler for 1,499 Ghana cedis, air fryer, juicer, stand mixer, and blender at all special Ramadan prices. Visit EGL showrooms and authorized dealers nationwide. Call us on 0503-159739 and on our website at www.electrolandgh.com. Electroland Ghana, bringing Ramadan value home.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. City Business News. Be informed.
Time now for City Business News on Eyewitness News. I'm Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Details of our stories now. Escalating tensions in the Middle East are beginning to disrupt global aviation networks, raising fresh concerns for Ghanaian traders who rely on the Gulf region as a critical sourcing and transit corridor. Several airlines have suspended or rerouted flights to major hubs such as Doha and Dubai amid heightened hostilities involving the US, Israel and Iran. There is more in the following report.
Airlines including Emirates and Qatar Airways have suspended or restructured services after several countries in the region shut their airspace over the weekend. For Ghanaian importers, the immediate risk is reduced cargo capacity and delays in procurement. Many small and medium-scale traders rely on passenger aircraft belly space to move light cargo, including electronics, textiles and auto parts. Any prolonged suspension could extend delivery timelines and raise freight costs, squeezing already tight margins.
There's going to be a challenge at this point in time that Israel, Iran and American friction will definitely have very huge negative impacts on the economy, on us as peoples of Ghana. Not just Ghana alone, but if things didn't get to normalize within some few days to come, then of course, obviously, we are going to have ourselves found in a huge challenge in regards to trade owners who were moving in that corridor to connect over to other jurisdictions for international business transactions and return to their various respective countries, i.e. Ghanaians and included, are all stranded in these countries, Doha and others. But that will definitely increase the cost of freight.
That was Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Asaki Awingobit, ending that report filed by Emmanuel Opon. Ghana's status as a premier destination for mining capital is facing renewed scrutiny after the country fell 7 places in the latest Fraser Institute annual survey of mining companies. The 2025 report saw Ghana drop to 53rd out of 68 jurisdictions on the Investment Attractiveness Index. The decline from 46th position in 2024 comes at a time when rival African economies are successfully pivoting to capture a larger share of global exploration budget. Here is more.
Within Africa, Ghana now ranks behind stronger performing jurisdictions such as Botswana and Morocco, placing it in the continent's middle tier for mining investment appeal. The drop signals that while Ghana remains a notable player in Africa's mining landscape, it is losing momentum in the global contest for exploration capital. The Investment Attractiveness Index blends mineral potential and policy perception, with investors assigning a 60% weight to geology and 40% to policy factors. Ghana's modest score suggests that regulatory uncertainty, taxation concerns, infrastructure gaps and land access issues may be tempering investor enthusiasm despite the country's strong mineral endowment. On the Policy Perception Index, Ghana ranked 50th globally with a score of 53.65, reinforcing perceptions of moderate but not leading policy competitiveness. The survey, conducted between August and November 2025, drew responses from 256 mining executives representing firms with a combined exploration budget exceeding $4.2 billion.
Daniel Oduro-Mensah filed that Business News Desk report. Samsung Electronics has described the Galaxy S26 Ultra as a defining shift in how mobile devices are positioned in the modern era. The Galaxy S26 Ultra is designed to operate like a personal assistant in a user's pocket, capable of organizing schedules, taking notes, and proactively suggesting directions to appointments based on daily activities. Speaking ahead of the Galaxy Unpacked event, where the tech giant is expected to unveil the latest additions to its flagship Galaxy lineup, Regional Retail Manager at Samsung Electronics, Ismail Leo Al-Hassan, said the device reflects Samsung's deeper push into artificial intelligence integration.
This phone is not a smartphone, it's an AI phone. You understand? It does a lot. The phone is able to understand your needs, what you have to do. It's like a personal assistant in your pocket. This is actually a business phone. You know, we spoke about the scanning of the documents. So on the go, you don't have to. I have an expert. I don't have to wait and get to the office before I sign a document. Right on my phone, I can sign a document and send. It means that business can happen over the air. Do you understand? And then last year we launched this feature called the live translation, where you can actually talk in your native language and then it translates to a different language. We have businessmen that are working, are multinationals, you know, and then there's not every language you can speak. So it's much more easier when I'm talking in my language, you're hearing it in another language. Because another reason why there's a mobile phone is to break the barrier of communication. So if I can speak in my language and then you hear me perfectly well, I mean, it makes things easier for all of us.
That was the regional retail manager at Samsung Electronics, Ismail Liu Al Hassan. Industry players and academic institutions have renewed calls for stronger collaboration to address Ghana's skills gap in the emerging electric vehicle ecosystem. The call was made at the Southern Belt Skills Assessment Workshop and Manufacturer Engagement on electric 2- and 3-wheelers organized by the Center for Extractives and Development Africa. Speaking to the media on the sidelines of the workshop, a lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University, Dr. Louis Abedi Asante, highlighted long-standing concerns from industry.
There's always been this concern that is constantly expressed by industry about the fact that our training institutions, universities, TVET, and then technical universities train students who are not ready for the industry. And so a lot of the time when they get into the space, there is a lot more training that needs to be done in order to make them fit. And so there's always a call on academic institutions to provide the skills that are needed for the industry. And that is why this workshop is relevant, because the workshop seeks to bring together industry and then academic institutions, to have a discussion on what skills are needed for the upscale of the EV ecosystem across the various chain. Talk about the chassis and framing, we talk about the battery technology, and then you talk about the electrical and then wiring systems. We need skills across all these different sectors of the EV production, and that is why this particular workshop is relevant, to ensure that that gap between industry and academia is bridged.
Dr. Louis Abedi Asante is a lecturer at the Kumasi Technical University. Data Bank Research is projecting relative stability for the cedi in 2026, forecasting a year-end depreciation of 7.2% against the US dollar. Under its 2026 economic outlook, the cedi is expected to close the year at approximately 12 cedis 85 pesos to the dollar, assuming the absence of major systemic shocks. Here is more.
The forecast factors in anticipated demand pressures from bulk importers, energy-related payments, and Eurobond obligations. It is anchored on a conservative assumption of monthly inflows of about 750 million Ghana cedis from gold board, alongside ongoing reforms within the small-scale mining sector. According to the report, sustained gold-backed inflows are expected to strengthen the central bank's capacity to manage market expectations and smooth volatility in the foreign exchange market. Beyond domestic fundamentals, the outlook also reflects positive external sentiment supported by continued program backing from the IMF and the World Bank. The report further notes a gradual shift in global reserve management trends, with some central banks reducing reliance on the US dollar and increasing gold holdings. Data Bank Research adds that ongoing discussions around reclassifying gold from a Tier 1 asset to high-quality liquid asset status could represent a structural evolution in the global financial system if implemented. Excluding this scenario, the research firm maintains a neutral to positive outlook for the Ghana cedi, supported by tighter foreign exchange regulations and resilient reserve buffers.
Natale Netiajaho filed that report. And that's it for City Business News on Eyewitness News, brought to you by Republic Bank. Republic Bank, we are the one for you. Join the Republic first, do more, shine more, big up. Hawa Idrisu Mustafa. Up next is Point Blank.
Mr. Kojo, 1 minute before you go to work. The AC you said you want to fix, it won't work.
Why?
Because the electrician will come and chisel my wall. It will make my building weak. Wait, is that a puppy? No animals in my house, oh.
Kojo knows all the challenges about renting. That was his reality until he discovered Republic Bank. With Republic Bank's flexible mortgage solutions, you can move from tenant to homeowner quickly. Imagine stepping into your own home, a place for your family to grow and create memories. Big up. Join the Republic Verse. Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Welcome to Max by.
Hey Jerry, this is your phone. We've ever been for cramp pill. What is this?
Babe, relax. Today is the day I turn water into wine. We're in the promised land. Max Buy is here to save us, okay?
You're welcome to Max Buy, Ghana's #1 electronic retail store. How may I help you?
You know, my queen deserves the best. Show me your top gadget here.
At Max Buy, we've got it all. Mobile phones, smart TVs, air conditioners, kettles, microwaves, blenders, and more.
Babe, imagine our anniversary selfies with this Techno Camon 30S. Everybody would think that we are Ghana's Jay-Z and Beyonce. Power couple, papa.
Call us on 054-401-9552.
With over 40 shops nationwide, flexible payment plan, online shopping, and home delivery.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Welcome back. You're still listening to Eyewitness News, and this is Point Blank. On Point Blank tonight, we'll go to the Ayawaso East constituency here in the Greater Accra region. Because tomorrow, over 50,000 voters in that constituency will go to the polls to elect a new member of parliament for the area. Ahead of the election, the Global Info Analytics led by Musa Dankwa is predicting a massive win for NDC's Baba Jamal. Musa Dankwa says he will win with over 70% of total vote cast tomorrow. Let's get more details from Musa Dankwa on this latest poll that he has conducted in the Ayawaso East constituency, where there's a by-election tomorrow, God willing. Musa, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. How did you arrive at this particular position?
Sammy, good evening and thank you for having me. We conducted a poll across all the 11 electoral areas of Ayawaso East between Saturday and Sunday yesterday. We sampled over 960 or so voters across the constituency. And we randomly asked them in the street who are they going to vote for, beside other questions. And 75% of the respondents said they intend to vote for Baba Jamal, with 21% planning to vote for MPP's candidate, Baba Ali. And then other 3% roughly would vote for the independent candidate, Umaru Sanda Mohammed. So this is the views of the NDC, general voters in the constituency.
You also spoke about the party affiliations of the various individuals you spoke to. Give us details about that.
Yes, if you look at the data, it shows that about 75% of the respondents self-identify themselves as NDC voters. 15% said they were MPP, and 9% were floating voters, with just 1% not willing to disclose their party affiliation. So it is overwhelmingly NDC. And for that reason, we don't expect to see any surprises at all.
You also asked the sample size whether they were satisfied or dissatisfied with how the incidence of vote buying that characterized the NDC primaries also went about. What was their response?
Overwhelmingly, people were not happy with what happened. We asked them 3 questions. One about what happened there, whether they were happy with it, and whether they were concerned about vote buying incidents. over 83% of the respondents were concerned about vote buying in the NDC primaries, and are also concerned about generally electioneering and money. And that is a big message that we got from Iowa East. However, when we asked them whether that would influence them in the way they vote tomorrow, overwhelmingly 80% said no.
So at the end of the day, 75.3% say Baba Jamal is likely to win in tomorrow's election. And when you look at your figures, it looks like the MPP's candidate, which is Baba Ali Yusuf, is not doing any good at all. From your figures, he's doing some 21.4%.
Yes, I mean, if you compare that to what they got in the last election, MPP got around 28%. Now he is doing 20%. Actually, his 21% is courtesy of floating voters. What we have seen in Iowa East for the first time since polling started, that 75% of the floating voters have broken ranks and joined the MPP to vote for MPP candidates. Only 25% are voting for NDC candidates. And these floating voters have been angered by what they saw in the NDC primaries.
There were fears that the independent candidate, which is Umaru Sanda, someone who is well known within the constituency and has served for a long time as an assembly member and a member of the NDC, there were fears that he could cause a major upset in tomorrow's election. But looking at the data that you have released, he's not coming any close to what the NDC's Baba Jamal is expected to get.
I mean, usually there's this kind of fear and uncertainty, and so there's a poll. I think before, people thought he was going to do massively well. But the poll has shown that clearly he's not going to be doing that well. He's at the moment on 3%, potentially hitting maximum 6% if the margin of error into consideration.
So tomorrow, God willing, the people of Ayawaso East constituency may likely vote Baba Jamal as their new member of parliament from your data.
We are 95% confident that will happen.
Musa, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure after the election, we will talk again. Thank you very much. Musa Dankwa is the Executive Director of the Global Info Analytics, predicting that indeed Baba Jamal will be the new member of parliament for the Ayawaso East constituency. As you were tomorrow, there's a by-election in that constituency. The election of a new member of parliament to replace the late Muhammad Toure, who died some few months ago. Let's speak to the referee in the event of all this. Fred Tete is the Director of Research at the Electoral Commission. The Commission is the one taking charge of this election and ensuring that it comes out to be free, fair, and credible. Mr. Tete, good evening. Thank you very much for your time. Preparation on the side of the Electoral Commission, what can you tell us?
Good evening, Sami Wiapi, and good evening for having me. In terms of preparation, the Commission is far ready. Everything is set for the poll tomorrow. So we're talking about the logistics, we're talking about personnel. In terms of personnel, yes, we are ready. The logistics, all arrangements have been made regarding the packing of the materials in the ballot boxes, the voting screens for the 113 polling stations where the election will hold tomorrow. I heard you talking about the registered voters being over 50,000. It's close to 50,000. The figure is exactly 49,966 voters that are going for the poll. Right. And specifically, Ayawaso East constituency. The voting starts at 7 as per CI 127, and then we close the poll at 5 p.m. Accreditation cards have been issued to members of the media fraternity, those that applied, and was also issued accreditation cards to the candidate agents as well, for them to be able to observe the process at the
But Tete, you sound very far away from your phone. I'll be glad if you can do something about it for me. But whilst you do that, let's talk about security. What's the arrangement like tomorrow, God willing, in terms of security?
In terms of security, we've had engagements with the security at the national, regional, and district level, for which we've been assured. And if I could say from what we saw in Akwitia and other places where we even had a rerun, professionally, we are confident that the police will discharge their duties effectively tomorrow.
Hello, Mr. Tete. I'm afraid Mr. Tete is on the line. We'll try and raise Mr. Tete again. Looks like the telephone line just dropped. We'll try and raise Mr. Tete again to give us details about tomorrow's election in the Yawaso East constituency. Over 43,000 voters are expected to cast their ballots tomorrow to elect a new member of parliament for the area. The election is between 5 individuals. Honorable Baba Jamal on the ticket of the NDC, Baba Ali Yusuf on the ticket of the NPP, Umaru Sanda Mohammed, an independent candidate, Ibrahim Idrisu, an independent candidate, and also David Kano, who is also an independent candidate. All these individuals vying to be the next member of parliament for the Yawaso East constituency. Let's go back to Mr. Fred Tete, Director of Research for the Electoral Commission, this time around to a better connection. Mr. Tete, you were telling us about security arrangement before the line dropped.
Yes, I was saying that we trust the police to discharge their duties professionally tomorrow. And we are aware that in terms of the arrangement and what they've done in the constituency so far, everything is on course.
So we are normally told that by-elections do not record massive turnout like general election. On the side of Electoral Commission, what's your projection for a possible turnout?
Let me be frank with you. We don't have a projected figure at the moment because it depends on what happens within the environs of the polling station. I'm saying this because in by-elections, that's where you see all the big wigs of the political parties giving their services as candidate or party agents. And therefore, it makes things difficult. The atmosphere becomes quite intimidating for people to turn out and come out in their numbers. And therefore, for us, looking at what we've seen so far, we believe that of the 49,966 voters, we expect them to come out in their numbers. Though the 2024 general elections, we had 74% turnout in Ayawaso East, we anticipate that people will come out in their numbers and then.
I have heard you say somewhere that in this election, if there's an attempt of vote buying or anybody trying to, buy votes, you may want to let the security forces take charge of it. Tell us more about this warning that I've heard you give to constituents in that constituency.
Well, if you could recall, most vote selling and vote buying is actually becoming something else in our electoral process of late. And therefore, when you look at the laws, Article 49 talks about the security voting. And then you have the Law 284, Section 34, 35, 33 that talks about the issue of treating, bribery, influencing, and what have you. If we don't do anything about this going forward, our democratic processes in terms of elections, people will not see the legitimacy in terms of the outcomes of the elections when we allow people to sell their vote and then people also to go around buying votes.
You are from the Electoral Commission. How do we deal with this matter? Is it the political parties or everybody who is involved in this matter? How do we deal with this one once and for all?
Elections is a multi-stake activity, a multi-stakeholder activity, and therefore, if you are going in and taking bribe, you are selling your books or somebody is bribing you to, and information is not given to the police. How can somebody know that this is what has happened? So what I'm trying to say is that all of us should be involved. All of us, from voters, observers, the security, the media, all of us should be involved in making sure that we nip this thing in the bud going forward.
How many polling centers are we looking at tomorrow?
We're talking about 113 polling stations.
113, dotted in every part of the constituency.
Sure.
So,
and I believe you know the topography of the area that we're talking about.
I may know, but my listeners may not know, so tell my listeners.
Okay. We're talking about the Ayawaso East constituency that stretches from the Accra Girls High School down to 37, 37 through the Jubilee House, down to the GBC TV3 area, down to the close to the residence of the former president, close to the Paloma, the big gutter, the bridge, and then you take it from there. You go through Nima East, Nima West, Mamobi East, Mamobi West, and then you end somewhere around Pautru. Pautru is an area down the Kutubabi police station, down, as if you are going close to the gutter. So that's the location that we're talking about.
Quite a huge constituency, if you ask me.
It's not huge. I believe if you're doing a walk around, you should be able to walk around Ayawaso East. Within, let's say, 3 hours, you should be able to walk around. If you're doing a keep fit walk, you should be able to do that. It's a kind of compact constituency with limited spaces when it comes to elections from the perspective of the Electoral Commission. So many of the polling stations that you go, you see the finding space for them to set up the polling stations many a times as a problem because of space. And therefore, many of them tend to use the streets as their polling stations. And that's what you are going to see tomorrow.
Well, Saturday, 3 hours walk is no joke.
Oh, I think when you are climbing the Ibri Hills, you will do more than that. But I believe you should be able to do that.
That's thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Director of Research for the Electoral Commission, speaking to us about tomorrow's by-election in the Ayawaso East constituency here in the Greater Accra region. 5 individuals will be on the ballot tomorrow, where over 49,000 voters within the constituency will choose one of them as their next member of parliament. Baba Jama of the NDC, Baba Ali Yusuf of the MPP, Umar Sanda Mohammed, independent candidate, as well as Ibrahim Idrisu and David Kano. These 5 individuals will be on the ballot tomorrow as the people of the Ayawaso East constituency go to the polls to elect a new MP. The Electoral Commission says they are ready. All materials that will be needed for election have been sent. They are just waiting tomorrow, 7 a.m. sharp. Voting will begin and close at 5 p.m. And after 5 p.m. sorting will begin. And then counting will also take place. Mr. Tata says security has been put in place. The Ghana Police Service has given a firm assurance that it will ensure peace order in the by-election. The Global Info Analytics, led by Musa Danko, has also done some work, and he says Baba Jama is expected to win tomorrow. He says Baba Jama currently is leading with some 75.3%, followed by the MPP's Baba Ali Yusuf with 21.4%. Umaru Sanda Mohammed, the independent candidate, also has 2.7%, and the 2 other candidates, Ibrahim Idrisu and David Kano, all doing 0.4 and 0.2% respectively. Well, tomorrow we'll find out if indeed the prediction by Musa Dankwa, the Global Youth Analytics, will come as predicted. This will be another exciting edition of Eyewitness News that came to you live from our studios here in Accra. My name is Sami. We are official produced by Beverly London, Kwabena Wilson, and Fetit Jabano. Earlier you heard Hawa Idriso. Technical assistant from Desmond Nyako. So we'll come your way again tomorrow. May the good Lord be with us all.